Okay, so this one here, this particular example is taking one of the pre-existing abstract desktops I did with a gradient and just using the warp tool. Okay, I'm using the warp tool to warp it, if you will, to warp it up. Okay, then I also did some color changes with it. So let me demo that particular, just the warp tool. I am going to, whoops, there we go. I'm going to create a basic, not fancy, quick, and I want something like that maybe. Okay. Now I'm going to get my transform tool. Where is it? Oh, here's my things. You want to keep your hardness about 75 across the board. Your spacing, keep everything basically the same. And you want to make sure you have move pixels selected. Okay, move the pixels around, and you can change around with your size of. So the size really does come into play here about how things get warped around. The smaller and kind of rough appearance you will get with your morphing. Okay. And it's really kind of your decision on how you morph things out. You warp it. Now watch what happened there. Okay, I wanted to pull it up and get a little bit of a swirl, but now I have an area that you can see through. So it would technically be black on your desktop. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to come here and get this up, and then I'll pull it down. So I don't have to undo it. Let me do view. And it is, I'll fit the window. So it, whoops. Zoom out. So I'll just zoom out a little bit more. So here, I want to bring this out a little bit. I don't want this kind of strong green. And that's the warp tool, okay? The more dramatic difference you have between the colors, the more interesting results you can achieve. Now, that's just the morph, or the warp, I'm sorry. I can come in here and do a Gaussian blur, and I can blur it up a little bit. So X, Y, I can blur it up just a little bit, hit OK, and then I can come back in with my warp tool and keep going with the morphing or the warping of it. Okay? So one of the filters I just showed you was the blur. You can blur your results. Okay? You can circular blur. Whoops. You can zoom, you can circular, linear. All of these you could pixelize. Okay? All of these different things you can do. Mia, what am I doing? I'm teaching right now, so you have to wait. You need to wait.
Keeps doing this.
So that's the warp transform tool and the blur. Now, here, This does not use the warp transform tool. This uses all filters. So if I go file, new, it doesn't matter what size here. I'm going to render. Okay, I'm going to render, say, lava. And I'm going to choose the gradient that I pick here. Let's pick something interesting. I can do roughness. I can do it less, more. I can change up the size and hit go. So what it does here is it creates a background for me already. That's not enough details. So I'm going to re-show lava. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. There, and hit OK again. And go through the process. Now notice what's happening over here. Okay. That's a lot better. So you're getting a lot more detail in there. So I've rendered that. Now I can come in and do some distortion. The one I like to use is the whirl and pinch. So I can turn the pinch down, the radius, and the whirl. Now it's replacing. What I really want to do is change it to be, it's not giving me what I want. Let's try a different one. Lava's not detailed enough. Let's do plasma. So let's see plasma right there. So I can up the turbulence. Hit OK. Then come with the filters, and I want, whoops, where am I going? I forgot. Where is distort? There it is. Whirl and pinch. Okay, and then I can do some whirling. I can undo some pinching. So it's not so more of a vortex. The radius, I can make the radius a little bit bigger. Here. So kind of hurricane-ish. But I don't want to replace it. I want to add a lighten to it. So you're not necessarily seeing everything. So I'm going to go into the colors and go to curves. And I'm going to show you what you can get. Hit OK. And then come back into my... And I want to make that a little bit bigger. So however you want to mess around with it. Okay. So it's a totally different technique here. You are welcome to use any of the filters. I didn't show you all of them. The render filters renders based on the criteria that it requests. If it's requesting the foreground and background color, that's over here. And all you have to do is double click and choose a different. And now I have those two as my background colors. Rendering will create your background. Then you can go blur it. Then you can go morph it. You can do all kinds of different things with it. Play around with that. Okay. I want to see you using the warp tool. And then however many filters you choose. Okay. So that's what you're doing, and that's the video, and I'll post it in 2 seconds in the classroom. So go ahead and get